It's me, Sony. Welcome back to another video. Today we are back in a game that I haven't updated for a long while. Tubby Super Cat. The voice probably not perfect, but I'll keep retrying until I get it perfect before I add it to the game. Anyways, so yeah, I haven't updated this game for a long while. I've made quite a few changes to the actual scripting underneath the game, and as well as the post-processing effects. The game doesn't look like a complete glare fest anymore. You don't have that overbearing glow of colour, just bright and overly popping out, just horribly bright anyway. A lot of people did dislike that last video just because of that. It was way too much. And I've solved the whole brightness issue now. It's much more visible, much more nice looking. We've got some new trees which look good. I've actually switched off the dotty effect when going close to objects, so you can see here it doesn't happen on the trees or anything else, because I've added a new camera control system which actually doesn't happen on these blocks here, but it's a very simple thing. It literally just pulls the camera in and still keeps that smoothness going once it starts moving out again. It only applies to certain objects, of course, so here you can see it applies here, and you can see the depth of field works quite nicely when you're close to things as well as obviously the far distant depth of field itself. Now the scripting underneath everything is what has gone through the major changes recently. It was originally one script. All of Tubby's movement was all one script except for the camera separately, and now it's in 7 separate scripts, which one of which is swimming, and that's the new update today. So we have here nice water effects which I've shown in images before. Pretty simple water shader, obviously no animation yet, as you can see. There are some nice particle effects happening with Tubby himself, and as well as that, watch this splash here. And you can see here he has a custom animation for jumping into water as well. So what happens is he goes underneath, but he's not in underwater swimming mode, so as a result he's sort of clambering up, and it's quite cool. In fact, it just looks really nice. I like this sort of clambery up feel. I'm trying to make him look as much like a cat as possible, and you can see here you can jump out and go straight into a wall jump from there. Now we can of course swim underwater as well by pressing the crouch button, and you can see he sort of kicks his feet around. The camera work is pretty good. It works quite nicely. We've got these nice bubbles coming out of him, coming out from his mouth there, and you can see they sort of pop at the top as well, so they don't go above water surface, and that applies to any water surface as well. So they sort of hit the surface of the water, and they don't go higher than that. Otherwise it does look really weird having bubbles fly right above the water. The actual splashes behind him, as well as the jumping splashes of course, the sort of ripple effect, that's a particle effect. So that's the same way I did the remod sandbox's particle effects for water. If you haven't seen that, have a look at the buoyancy videos for that. They're pretty good. And yeah, so anyways, let's move over there. That's pretty much most of what I've done, what I've added anyway. Like I say, most of the work was behind the scenes in the sort of in the scripts itself. Anyways, a little bit of a new thing I've added here as well. Pretty standard stuff, something you'd see in most platformers nowadays. Oh, before I mention that actually, Tubby's tail itself also increases friction once it's underwater. So you can see here it floats about a lot more, a little more hovery, and you can see his tail there does hover about. Again, the camera doesn't go through walls, but it does go through these things, or it should go through these things at least. Yeah, there we go. Camera goes through those things quite nicely. Yeah, so these golden things now, let's have a look at them. These golden blocks are literally bounce blocks. Usual stuff. You jump on them and they give you a little bit of a bounce. Of course, you can hold the jump button, boing, and you go all the way up. Whee! And there we go. Pretty cool. They affect the camera as well, of course. So when you jump normally, the camera simply tilts up, and you can see here that the camera just tilts up. Whereas when you jump on the golden things, boing. Let's do that again. You can see the camera does follow Tubby entirely after that jump, and we've got a nice sparkly effect there to denote that we are bouncing off a bounce pad. Anyways, you can sort of surface jump as well, so obviously when you jump all the way underwater, he can't jump until he reaches the surface, but if you time it right, you can sort of skip along the water, which is quite fun. This area here, not finished. Obviously this whole area is the new hub world, which includes Tubby's house as well. In fact, I haven't mentioned, that's a new build for his house. It looks similar to how it was before, but with my own custom new textures, and everything you're seeing here is literally all my own custom textures, including the Tubby things there. Look, little cat boxes, these bricks, even the normal maps for them. So that area doesn't lead anywhere, it's literally just for testing these things. The trees also, custom textures, everything in the background there. Those brickworks there, those are actually the same ones I used in the Odyssey Experience VR demo, and of course the same ones that I used then after that in the Odyssey Experience mod for Mario 64. And that's pretty much all there is for it anyway. I just wanted to put an update of Tubby Supercat in sometime, and people have been waiting for it. You can see a few new things have been added, and now with the new scripts, with everything modified, it's so much easier for me to modify this game and upgrade everything as well. I can literally just add things to the game and not have to worry about where they go in script. It's so much easier than it was before. Let's have a quick look at Tubby's new house once again. In fact, we'll clamber up the tail side of it all. So his land is pretty much designed to look a bit like a cat. So you've got here a tail, which is the pathway up. It doesn't have the pathway texture because that does take a little bit of work to get done. But in front of his house you can see that I've started getting some work done there in terms of the whole pathway system, which looks a lot better than just having the grass by itself. So if you look here, we can see that there's actually a change in the texture here from dark green to this pathway green. The doors don't work, you can't go into his house, of course. The camera does jump in though. And anyways, let's have a look at the house itself. There we go, a nice new cat house for him. That's Tubby's new house. And a few things to mention as well. So a lot of people liked the skiing video that I made in the last video I made, which was the skiing VR skiing demo. So I'll probably be releasing that. I did make some changes to it itself. I've actually changed the way the movement works. You still have a little bit of extra friction turning on the ski poles themselves, but it's mainly leaning now. So you use the sort of offset of your body. What you do is you plant your feet firmly on one place, press the reset button so you know where your center is, and then as you go left or right, that's counted as leaning rather than you physically moving in reality. So that's something I actually used then straight after that, and I spent another day making another little video, another little demo, which is actually skateboarding. And it turns out that is extremely motion sickness inducing, so I could just about feel it as well. It's pretty heavy, but I'll probably be releasing that and the skiing VR all at the same time, just as a nice little test demo, something that you can play. A little bit of a infinite demo as well, which is the skiing one, and the skateboarding that I'm just going to make a little test map for. It really does work quite nicely. You can skateboard up things properly, it all works properly. The rotations and tilts don't go absolutely crazy with the VR, but it's just something that I wanted to do. I wanted to test out whether I could get some nice skateboarding physics and still have VR working properly, which is okay, but it does need a lot of work. The last thing to mention as well then is Tiny Open World, which is getting an upgrade. So I've gone ahead and used the new character model. I've rebuilt the project from scratch. This will probably be like the 5th time I've done that, but it needed it, and it is now working much better. I've got the ragdoll and everything in working properly as well, so that'll probably be popping up soon as well. That's Tiny Open World, looking now like the Tiny Battle Bros game, which I will also be updating pretty soon as well. That's the end of this video. Goodbye!